Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Shine Crew. Good morning, Miss Tina. You were here first, Miss Tina, or at least you commented first. Good morning, Tara. Good morning, Jay. Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody doing this morning? I hope everybody is doing well. I did one of my numbers again. I gotta stop doing this. When I wake up really early and I stay up for a couple of hours and then say, let me just put my head down and just sleep a little bit and then wake up. Man, those are the best sleeps, but they're the hardest ones to come out of. They are the hardest ones to come out of, especially because yesterday I worked a full day shift. I was working all day. Oh, when I tell you, I got up from this chair and I went around to the other room and I sat down and I stayed there until about 11 o'clock last night. I was working all day. So I know I'm tired, but I didn't realize I was that tired. And it's funny, I felt like the way I felt when I sat at my desk as a paralegal for like 12 hours. I had that feeling. I felt like I was working a job. And there was at one point where I stopped to eat lunch, and I've always been one. I've never gone out for lunch unless somebody says, "Oh, let's go out for lunch." Otherwise, I stay in my office and I eat at my desk. And I was sitting there eating at my desk, and I was like, "This feels so familiar." Good morning, Miss Carolyn. Good morning, Gordon. Good morning, Miss Vita. Hey, Jay, I'm doing well. I'm doing well now. I'm doing well now. I mean, I wasn't feeling sick or anything. I just slept, just tired, just exhausted. Sometimes, I feel like I'm burning the candle at both ends. You know what I mean? Good morning, Miss Rochelle. Good morning, Jan. Jan, thanks for checking in on me. I saw your message come across my screen, but I did not have the time to stop and answer it, honey. And then when the other thing is that normally what I do is when I'm finished here, I will immediately set up the StreamYard for the next day. And yesterday I was so enthusiastic. I wanted to get over there and start working. And so I was like, I'll do it later. Of course I forgot. So when I sat down here and I was like, okay, I'm already late. And then I looked and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't set up the StreamYard. So then when I finally put it through, then I saw your check mark. I was like, okay, she must have saw that that I would, that I was going live, because she was like, no live today. And I responded and said, I don't care what's happening, we going live. I've never missed a day. Well, y'all know what I mean when I say that. But thank you for checking on me. I appreciate it. My mom says top of the morning to everyone. Top of the morning. So, Jan, while I was working like a slave yesterday, you took the day off and was just chilling. Whatever. Anyway, y'all. So, we are on day 17, y'all. Day 17 of I Did a New Thing. Day 17. Hey, Mike. Oh, by the way, I made a little boo-boo with the last reel that I did, so I'm doing another one. So if you have not taken a picture with your book, please look for the link on the page, or if you're not on the page, just send it to me. We want to include everybody, on the next reel that we do. Okay. So, Mike, you are very welcome to take your picture and come hang out with us too. We'll put you in the reel if, it's all good. So if you have not taken a picture and you want to be a part of the reel, please make sure and do that. Okay. Please make sure and send the picture to me. All right. So day 17 is explore new ways to communicate. This one really touched my heart. I gotta drink cats again. I gotta drink cats.
Memory.
Oh my gosh. Y'all, I got the cat mug again. I need to get me a Shine with Andrea mug. And I said this a long time ago because every talk show host has a mug. Every talk show host has a mug. And I was like, how cool would it be if I got a mug for each guest that I have on, so that when they are on talking, we can both use our mug. Don't forget that Andrea can superimpose the book if you don't have it. Yes, absolutely. So like if you have the audio book and you want to still hang out with us, all you have to do is hold the book like this, right? You see my hand on the bottom without this hand, but hold it like this so that I can superimpose the book on the picture. Okay, that's if you have the audio book. I do not want to perpetrate a front. And I do not want to, what is it called? I want you guys to support her and buy the book, right? So if you have the audio book, I can do that for you. Okay, no problem at all. Tina says she loves the kitties. I love mugs too, Mike. I do, but like I'm severely allergic to cats. I don't get down with cats like that. This is my daughter's mug. It's got cats all over it. I feel like I want to sneeze. Oh, have Madison make the Shine with Andrea mugs. Man, that child, she's too busy for me right now. See, she's got a job. She's got a job. She don't really have a job. We call it her job when she, from 8:30 to midnight is when she does her artwork because she's drawing BTS every day until they come back from the military, right? So that's what she does from 8:30 to midnight. That is her time where and you know what she does while she's drawing? Does anybody know what she does while she's drawing? Take a guess. What does she do while she's drawing? How does she pass the time? How does she get through it? Like, take a guess. Tumblers and water bottles. Tumblers. I love tumblers. I do. I love tumblers. Tumblers to me are like shoes. I have I remember a point in my life where I had so many shoes. And I brought them all with me to Florida. And like, I only wear like one pair, like a pair of flip-flops. So Anita says, listen to BTS. Jamila says, sing. Hey, Wandretta. Miss Vita says, listen to her motivational music. I'm waiting to see what else y'all say, because this is really interesting. Cats are creepy. Shelly said cats are creepy. I love it. Oh my gosh. Gordon loves cats, and he loves cat videos. If y'all ever see a cat video, send it to Gordon. He loves cat videos. Okay. If you ever see a cat video, just send it to him. He loves it. Recite poetry. I love it, Jay. Recite poetry. Watch anime. Come on, let's see what else y'all got. This is interesting. But you know that she is in her, she's taking classes. She's taking college classes as well, right? So she's taking 3 classes. Astronomy, algebra, and art. All of her classes start with A. So, she has a heavy course load as well, as her job. Listen to your live. I wish she would, Jan. Child, I wish she would. I think she hears it in her dreams. Okay, so I'm going to tell y'all what she does. Madison listens to documentaries. And when I tell you documentaries, I'm talking about like anything from A to Z. Like, I mean, just she's a history buff, so she loves history. She loves astronomy. But I wish she could tell you some of the stuff. You know what? I'm going to ask her. I want a list. She's supposed to be making a list anyway of the documentaries. And she learns so much. She retains it all. That's what like bugs me out. She retains it all.
She just said recite poetry is an idea.
What?
She just said recite poetry is an idea.
Oh Lord, Jamila, you just gave her an idea. She said reciting poetry is an idea. So she might do that. Is she up?
She's getting ready.
What are some of the documentaries that she's watched, Gordon?
Earth. I don't know.
You are no help. He says Earth. Okay, what about Earth? Hey Angela. So I was saying that Madison, she is drawing her one of her favorite groups, BTS, every day until they return, which is like 300 something days. And I was asking everyone if they know what she does while she's drawing. And so I expected that most people would say, listen to BTS or listen to music, which she does from time to time. But the thing that she always does when she draws is listen to documentaries, like all kinds, like nothing goes together, just like also whatever her interest is that in that moment. Good morning, Farah. Glad you're out of the bed, honey. Shelly says, I love documentaries. Yeah, she does too. Oh, Jan says she loves them too. And Tara. Yeah, she loves, but now she wants to recite poetry. Lord have mercy. I had to go through that with my mom when my mom was doing her master's, and she had, I don't know why, but she had to learn and memorize, what was it? The Gettysburg Address. I think that was what it was. And she would just walk around the house all day, every day. What's the word now, Gordon? What is the beginning of it?
Oh, half a league.
Half a league. Oh, in her British Jamaican accent. Half a league, half a league, half a league. How's it go?
Cannons on the left of them.
Yeah, cannons on the left of them. Cannons on the right of them.
something.
But that's what my mother would just be reciting that all the time. So and
she actually said reciting poetry was crazy. I thought she said something else.
Okay. Yeah, crazy. That's a good word. Crazy is good. That's what she means. Anyway, so retaining any knowledge her beautiful brain will and can contain. Right? Oh my gosh. She said Gordon said a lot of space theories about black holes and dimensions and what would happen if there was a wormhole and stuff like that. Yeah, just like
anything historical. She said.
Anything historical. Just like crazy stuff like that.
I watch the History Channel.
Yeah, Gordon watches the History Channel. Me, I like to watch training videos and I like to watch training videos, anything having to do with the law. You know what? You know what? You're going to stop screaming on my show from the background.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What I used to do all the time. It's changed a little bit and I don't really like the new format. I used to always watch Court TV. I would always have that on in the background. Oh my gosh, love Court TV. And then when I got married, a couple years into our marriage, I used to watch, what's the show, Gordon? Snapped.
And prison documentaries.
I love prison documentaries.
Before I go to bed.
Yeah. But I started watching Snapped and Gordon was giving me the side eye. He's like, why are you watching that though? Why are you watching that? Well, why are you watching that? Oh gosh. Oh, Tara said leave Gordon McMahon alone. Hey Jamel, good morning. Girl, Snapped. What? And of course I would always say to him, well, you better not want to find out. No. Oh my gosh. Anyway, y'all. So explore new ways to communicate was day 17. And I loved that she used a quote from our beloved Oprah Winfrey. Great communication begins with connection. Great communication begins with connection. That reminds me of something that I often ask for permission when I want to speak into somebody's life. If I don't have a relationship with you and I see something and I say, man, what I know, my experience could really help this person. And I'd like to share it with them. But if God doesn't say, like, I need you to say this to this person, and I just feel like I want to be helpful, I always ask for permission, because I don't believe that you can pour into somebody unless you do have some kind of a relationship with them. They're not going to receive it. They're just not. And so, when she says that great communication begins with connection, it really does. Because if I just, right, Angela, right. Because if I just, messaged one of you that I don't have a good relationship with, like we just don't have a relationship, and I start saying something and you're like, well, who the heck does she think she is? And why is she messaging me? Why is she telling me this? It doesn't, I always tell people, if you're going to say something to someone, make sure, number one, you can say it like, face to face, but ask for permission. If you don't have a relationship, if you have a relationship, I will still say, hey, do you mind if I share something with you? Do you mind? Can I give you my opinion on this? And I believe that helps, that helps to form that connection, right? So with her show, so her new thing was starting to learn American Sign Language. And so with her show, she had to learn not just how to sign, but she also discovered how important other nonverbals are to being able to speak to each other. And so she was talking, you guys read the story. She was talking all about the experience of what it was like with the Oscar, is he nominated or award winning? Oscar winning deaf actor, Troy Kotzer, and how it was working with him. And that also reminded me of my last job when I worked as a legal administrator for the Melting Pot restaurants worldwide. And my immediate supervisor was deaf, and he had hearing aids in both ears. And we had a good relationship. We had a fairly good relationship. And I remember being in meetings with him, and he could read lips, and so can I. And so I remember being in a meeting with him, and we'd be across the table from each other, and something would come up and we would want to say something about it. And so and like sometimes we would check with each other or whatever. And so he would say something to me, and then I'd be able to read what he says. So and it wasn't just the reading of the lips, right? It wasn't just the reading of the lips, but it was more so knowing him, right? Us having a good relationship, and understanding his body language in a sense, right? So that reminded me of that experience. And again, that comes with relationship. And I think what was even more eye-opening and like, wow, was the whole thing she was talking about with Aunt Bet. What did y'all think about that? Hey, Shanae. I was telling me love when you message me. Oh, you always love when I message you, Wandretta. Is that what you were saying? Oh, she's all over Neil deGrasse Tyson. She's all over. She's all over that. She absolutely. She's reached out to NASA a couple of times. So what did y'all think about her relationship with Aunt Bet and that whole story? What did you guys think about that while I take a sip of my cat tea? Anybody? All right. Hopefully somebody says something, because I really would like to hear what y'all thought. But at the bottom of 132, when she said, I was able to communicate with Aunt Bet because I didn't realize she was deaf. I just thought she communicated differently, and she did what she needed in order to talk to her. Isn't that interesting? like her aunt, when she was a kid, was deaf, but she didn't know ASL. There was no way for her to learn ASL, right? And so the family just communicate. They found a way to communicate with her. And this is like what it is to grow up in a family and like just love, right? Just love is evident there. And so for her to say, I was able to communicate with her because I didn't even realize she was deaf. She just thought she communicated differently. And she did what she needed to do in order to talk to her. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that right, Jamila? I love that children are so open and creative. And Ms. Vanessa says she had a love language with Aunt Bet. Yes. Wandretta said, made me think about your relationship with Aunt Kay. Oh, wow. Yes. And Aunt Kay wasn't, she wasn't deaf or anything, but I understand the correlation. She might have been hard of hearing sometimes. You laughing at me, Gordon? Gordon's laughing. But I did have a great relationship with Aunt Kay. So yeah, and what she says at the bottom there, she says, children don't care if they speak the same language as someone, as long as love and kindness are present. Isn't that cool? So cool. So she said, love just kind of overpowers everything, doesn't it? Laughter and joy too. That Carolyn says that is beautiful to be able to communicate. Exactly. To be able to communicate and to know, like, I think it was so beautiful that she didn't even realize that her aunt was deaf. She didn't know she couldn't hear. She just thought she communicated differently. And if we could look at people and think the same thing and just accept them, how they are, what they look like, right? What they're going through, and just find a way to communicate. Like, wow. So at the bottom of page 133, she says, the thing is, none of this would have come to mind had I not opened myself up to doing something new on the show. So what she's talking about, she says, let's see, she's talking about Tony being on the show and them wanting to do something more for people who needed to have that translation, to have someone there doing ASL on the show. But she is saying, no, it would never have come to mind. They would never have started talking about it. They would never have made it an initiative if she wasn't open to doing something new with Tony, right? And I love where she says representation and accessibility matters. And she remembers when her mom was sick and she became paralyzed and limited to a bed or a wheelchair due to her ALS. And she said whenever she'd fly back and forth from LA to North Carolina to visit her, she said she would look at those tiny bathrooms and wonder, how anybody with a wheelchair would be able to go in there if they needed to. And, I often look at it from that perspective myself. And I tell you, unless you actually have experienced something, you often don't think about what other people need, and I've tried to teach this to my daughter as well. And I teach it to her from a different perspective. One of the things that has always traumatized me is, as a big girl, being able to sit in a chair that is wide enough for my behind. As a big girl, if you're a big girl, then, if you got wide hips, then you know what I'm talking about, right? And so, or to be able to slide into a booth at a restaurant and to be able to slide in. I think that sometimes, certain situations, people don't look for accommodations for other people because they don't see or feel or experience what they experience, what the other people experience. I remember sometimes. Thank you, Miss Vita, for not leaving me out here by myself. Thank you, Tara. I think Jan, you're saying true as well. Farrah says, yes, as an OT, teaching people how to navigate a world that's not always so accommodating. It's not. It really isn't. Tara says, listen, it's a whole endeavor. You have to go through a whole vetting process when you enter a place just to find a good place to sit. And it's the truth. You know, I don't want to be embarrassed. Right? I don't want to be embarrassed. And so I remember at a previous job, they were going to do these a team building day, right? And they went to do an activity at a place that had like little bumper cars, like outdoor bumper cars. I don't know, they weren't really bumper cars, but like go-karts or something like that. I can't even remember. I think it was go-karts. Go-karts, and it's outdoors, right? Now those cars are really small. And of course, you know, the headquarters was a very, where I worked was a very small. We had maybe 50 people that worked there. And of all the ladies, at the time, I wasn't even the size I am now, right? At the time, I was the biggest girl there. And do you think anybody took that into consideration? Nope. So I sat out. I wanted to be there. I wanted to be with everybody. But I wasn't going to, even if I could sit in that bumper seat, in that little go-kart, what I would look like trying to get in and out of it would be too embarrassing for me to even try, right? And so I don't think that people take that into consideration. Another thing I've experienced in my lifetime with dogs. I will love a dog from afar. Don't bring him near me. I've had terrible, traumatizing experiences as a child with pit bulls, right? Traumatizing experiences. I don't like dogs. When I say I don't like them, I'm afraid of them, right? Not that I don't like your puppy or your. I know people look at dogs and cats and their pets as like another member of the family, and I respect that. I can't get down with it. I can't. I will not come to your house if you have a dog, and if you're not willing to put it away. I can't do it, right? Cats is a whole different thing, because cats I'm just severely allergic to. But with dogs, I the trauma that I have, can't do it. And what I don't like is when people say, "Oh, he's not going to bother you." Well, how do you know that? I mean, I know you know your pet, but the thing is that my reaction to him might bother him. You know, but the thing is that is not someone who is accommodating or someone who is really understanding how you feel about the situation. Like, I'm telling you that I'm deathly afraid. I do not want to be, I cannot be around a dog. And you're telling me, oh, it's okay. He doesn't mind, you know. No, that's not accommodating. You're gonna so because you got a good relationship with the dog, you're gonna put me in a situation where I'm probably gonna pass out from my fear.
That's how I feel about spiders.
Gordon said that's how he feels about spiders.
No, a good spider.
Oh my gosh. Right, Jan? They're dogs. They're not humans. I know some people might feel like they are humans. They're not humans. They're dogs. Right? And sometimes they snap because they watch y'all watch Snap too much. I love you. God bless you. And Jesus be with you. Miss Rochelle said, me too. I broke my kneecap running from a pit bull. Neighbors were breeding them to fight. Imagine having somebody hold one on a leash in your face when you're like 3 years old. I love you, baby. God bless you. Jesus be with you. Have a great day, okay? Thank you, honey.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you too. Angela says, right, if I know you, then I can get close to your dog. But if I don't know you, I can't get next to your pet because they know when you are a good or bad person. I think that they know, they smell fear. And I don't know how they interpret that. And I can't have a conversation with them. I can't talk to them. I can't say, listen, you stay over there. I'm going to stay over here. We good. I don't have nothing against you, but I just need my space. I can't say that. Right? Jamila said, let's not talk about spiders. Oh, Farrah. See, but Farrah, you are a compassionate person. You're compassionate. So I wouldn't expect anything different from you. Right? And the thing is if I see your dog and I see your dog in action and I see how your dog responds to you, and especially if you tell me, like, listen, he really is what do you call it? Not just a sweet dog, but like, is docile the right word? But like, I in some cases I can warm up to the idea of it. In some cases, I can warm up to the idea in it. I actually warmed up to the idea of being close to huskies. I actually warmed up to being around huskies. Now, I'm not going. Don't try to say, "Oh, I have a husky. Come on over." No, that's not going to happen. But you have to listen. You have to be able to communicate with people, understand where they're coming from. And whether you understand or not, you have to respect them. You have to respect them. And you got to try to see things from other people's perspective, And I think that, and I don't usually dive into things this deep, but I think when it comes to racism, just because you haven't experienced it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And if you would just try to listen for understanding, you might be able to, understand how somebody feels and what it feels like to walk in their shoes. And so that's why I love this chapter, explore new ways to communicate. I wish that Tab could get the entire country to just do day 17. Like, seriously, I wish that they could get the entire country to do day 17. Like, seriously, great communication, it begins with connection. Tara says, even with me knowing my dogs are sweet, it doesn't change your feelings. Exactly, Tara. Thank you. And that's what needs to be respected. Your feelings, not what I know about my dogs. That's it right there. That is it right there. That's it. That's it. That is so it. Farrah says, my fur baby is my baby, but I understand people's phobias. I would never want to re-traumatize you. She said, it's fine. It's not forever. You see, that's a compassionate person. Truly is.
I don't like dogs licking baby's face.
You're just different, Ma. No, I agree with you. My mother said, I just don't like dogs licking baby's face. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we have to respect other people's feelings. You don't know what it's like to walk in their shoes, So anyway, at the end, on page 134, when she talks about the airlines and what it's like for people, in wheelchairs, how she wants to make a difference, doing that, and how now using her platform and her voice that, a lot of people know her voice now, right? A lot of people know who she is. And so she wants to make a difference, wants to make change with when it comes to that. She says, I really want to bring awareness to this issue that is negatively affecting the differently abled. And that was something else that I loved, that she used that term, differently abled. I never liked the term disabled because that's just a bad connotation, right? You're not disabled. You are able, but you're able to do it differently. And so I loved when she said that. And then she says, as you might have figured out by now, doing a new thing has a ripple effect, right? Because things can change. Things can change when you do a new thing. Everything except for food. Everything except for food. Different abilities. Different abilities. And so the last line here says, listen, we are all in this world together, and we have got to figure out how to communicate with each other and love on each other, no matter what we look like or how we happen to show up. This is it. We must take the time to help each other take up space. I'm excited that I found one more way that I can do just that. So how are you guys going to explore a new way to communicate? So she said, play a game of charades. She says, not only is this a good time, but it's the kind of game that will help you learn how to communicate differently. Our nonverbal communication is just as important as the verbal. So why not explore while having a little fun? So I might try to see if I can do that with the family when Madison comes home from school. Coloring in a coloring book. I already love that. And look through an old photo album. That's one of my favorite things to do. And I remember one day I was talking to somebody on the phone, and we were sending pictures back and forth, lots and lots and lots of pictures of our family, of our, our children, and well, their children, my child, and just, different milestones in life. And it was just so much fun. That's great communication. And I think it's beautiful when it goes back and forth, when it's not like one person just sending, but you're communicating that way. You're communicating through the photo, and I think that's beautiful. Wandretta said, I love that term. Yes, you're differently abled. Jamila says, a lot of my educator friends use that phrase. Absolutely. Let's see. Angela says, one of my pastors said about me, I would never call Angie handicapped. She's handy capable. Oh, I like that. She wants to do some things we able-bodied folks can do. It just takes her a little bit longer to accomplish. Yeah. I mean, that's it. I remember when I was in college, and well, actually, let me see. I think it was after college, after I graduated from college, and I was getting ready to take the LSAT so that I could get into law school. And I remember the struggle that I had with testing, and the struggle I had with understanding certain things, and which is why I prefer to talk sometimes than to write. And in certain situations, I do want to, like, if I want to communicate something to you, I would prefer to write it down sometimes than to say it, right? It just depends on the situation. But with having an auditory, what do they call it now? Well, I found out during the time I was going for the LSAT that I was dyslexic, which I was never labeled as that. No one ever tested for it. So I didn't know like that I had it. But when I was tested and I found out, it was so like, now I know I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy, because I would experience things throughout my life and like, why do I do that? Why does my mind think differently? And then when I found out, yep, you're dyslexic, then knowing that was like, okay, good. Well, now I know what to do, which was funny because the therapist said, she said, you have overcompensated your entire life, and the other thing was having ADHD. That was something that I said, yep, I understand that. Right. But my mother never medicated me. She just knew how to deal with me. She knew what to do, because, and for all intents and purposes, it's the same thing, right? It wasn't a disability, right? It was just, I was abled differently. I did things differently. And so when you learn to accommodate people, and that was something that they allowed me to do, was to have certain accommodations, that I could go into, a testing room with a proctor by myself, because there's no way I can work with people around me. Just the writing of, just the bubbling in that the sound makes of their pencil bubbling in. I can't, I just can't. I can't focus. I can't focus, which was probably one of the reasons why I would do my work really quickly and then walk around and help everybody else, because I couldn't concentrate. Right. And so a lot of times when I do Zoom meetings, I put mute all, and I make it that no one can unmute themselves. Because if I'm talking and I'm sharing, and then somebody unmutes themselves by mistake, and you hear a dog barking, or you hear the TV loud, or somebody says something, immediately I'm just like, and then I forget what I'm talking about, and then I lose confidence, right? And so you have to know who you are. You have to know what works for you, and then you have to be confident enough, and you have to be okay with saying, this is how I need things to be. This is how I need things to be. I mean, I'm not telling you that I need to have my M&Ms, separated by color in different bowls in the green room. Like, that's not it. You have to understand what the difference is, right? If you want me to perform at my best, this is what I need. I need it to be on mute. And I would prefer to have control over the Zoom. I would prefer that. Not all the time I can. But I think so many people know me well enough that I have been in situations where the people don't even know me, and they're like, oh, make Andrea a co-host. I was actually on a Zoom with somebody that's really, really, really big in our industry, not just in my company, but big in the industry. And a bunch of people said, just make Andrea a co-host. And they did. That's your Mikey? Oh, yeah. Like, there's nothing wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with us. If we can't sit still, sometimes we're talking and then we're going off to a different, it's okay. And another thing, this just came to me when talking about this. When Madison was younger, she stuttered. When she was really young, she stuttered. And I remember my mom telling me how she stuttered when she was a kid. And what they would do, they would try, and the other thing is my mom's left-handed. And they used to, when she would write with her left hand, they would beat her left hand to get her to write with her right hand.
Tell them, not my parents.
Not her parents, but like,
School.
in school. And I remember her talking about how she stuttered. And for a very short period of time, Madison stuttered. And I will never forget what the doctor said. The doctor said, don't try to stop her. And don't try to help her. Just leave her. She'll grow out of it. And if she doesn't, we'll figure out other things. She grew out of it. The problem was she had so much to say and she couldn't get it all out. That's what we realized. She had so much to say. So much to say. And she couldn't get it all out fast enough. And so when you have a kid and you know that, as a parent, you see your kid and you know what they struggle with, and I don't even want to say struggle, but that they're different. They do things a little bit differently, and you nurture them and accept them and respect them for who they are and how they process things and what they do, and you let them believe that don't tell them anything's wrong with them. I'm happy in a sense. I'm happy my mother never told me I was dyslexic, right? I don't know how I would have reacted to that. But she said my grandfather was. My father was, and so was she, But finding out about it later on in life, it answered questions for me. Jamila says, I cannot tell you how many times since college I've heard the green room reference. Wow. Miss Rochelle said, imagine a whole family with it. We all learned differently and had fun. And I think you probably had fun because you respected each other. And because you went through something, because you were differently abled, you were able to respect somebody else and to understand that, they have this challenge or whatever you want to call it, like they did things differently. So all I needed was a little extra time on my test. They gave that to me. I needed a little bit extra time, and I needed it to be quiet. I couldn't, if I have the time, I can get 100. But if I have to cut that in half, and and I'm being distracted by every single noise in the class, and if you drop your pencil, my head is like this, right? That's why sometimes I got to turn my phone off. Like today, I don't know if you noticed how many times I glanced down at it. It's like I can't even help it. But it vibrated, and it was sitting on the desk on the wood. So it's like I hear it, right? That's why a lot of times I will put it away, or put it someplace where I can't hear it, right? Anita said my ex-husband wouldn't let my son be a lefty, so now he's ambidextrous. I'm ambidextrous by default. I can write with both hands, clearly, because my mother taught me to do everything. Because she's left-handed, she taught me to do everything, the way she does it. So I remember somebody was trying to teach me to iron, and I was doing it the way my mom does it, and they said, no, you're left-handed, that's not the way you do it. And I remember thinking, like, well, why not? What's the difference? The clothes are still going to get ironed. Jamel says, and she had some of the most beautiful penmanship as a lefty. Oh wait, I must have missed something. Jamel says, I believe my mom expressed that same experience as a southpaw in school. As a southpaw.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
Is that what they call it, being left-handed?
Southpaw. Yeah,
So you a shorty southpaw.
Shut up.
Ooh, I got me a new name for you now. Shorty southpaw.
You got to respect.
Wait, hold on. Is that a derogatory thing? If it's derogatory, I don't want to say it.
Short is.
Shorty is not derogatory. You gonna forever be my shorty. Shorty 140. The Eminem reference. Sorry, that was a sidebar. That's okay. That's okay. You could explain it to me later. Jamal said she has some of the most beautiful penmanship as a lefty. That's not my mother's ministry.
Hey,
That's not her ministry. That's not her story, Jamel. That's not her story. But anyway, guys, this has been great. This has been great. Go do something new. Try to figure out how to communicate with somebody. Do something fun today and write about it. Talk about it. Share it. Share something from here that you think will help somebody, along the way. Tomorrow is day 18, and it's do something that intimidates you. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. That means go into a restaurant and try to go sit sit at a bar. I don't like the high top chairs. Not a good thing for me. That would intimidate me. Doing that in front of everybody, that would embarrass me. That's not intimidating. Shanae says, no, you didn't call your mother Shorty 140. And did. Jamal said, my oldest son started right-handed, and one day just switched to his left. He writes with his left, but he can do a lot of things he does with both hands. Wow. Yeah. All right, y'all. Love you guys so much. God bless you. And I will see you tomorrow for day 18. Can you believe? Can you really believe we're at day 18 already? It just seems to have just flown by, right? All right, y'all. Love you so much. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.